kids, it's Jack Trash
And Chris McLernon.
for another rip-roaring episode of Plus One, a rock and roll podcast.
That's right, here we are.
This week, our guests are the band Sons of Silver.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got Pete and Adam who are going to be joining us. It's Adam Kurry, not the guy from MTV.
Not that Adam Kurry.
No, don't like that, Adam Kurry. And then Pete Argyropoulos, which is a very Greek name.
It is, and well done. Nicely done.
And it's I'm glad he didn't change it, because most people that go into show business, rock and roll, whatever, if they've got a wild name, they usually change it.
Yep.
Hence Jack Trash.
Right. At least yours isn't like Dushinsky, you know.
Right.
Exactly. It's a little easier. I mean, I remember being in Cold Sweat, and there are certain factions that really wanted me to change my name for McLernon. And finally, Wendy Dio said, no, it's fine. Leave it.
Why would they want you to change that?
Oh, well, because I get screwed up on a daily basis. Is this Mr. McLernon?
No. Yeah.
McLarnon, Clarendon, McLarnon, McLanon, and it turns into a Jerry Lewis skit, you know?
Right.
And then Miss Communication, and then and here we go. By the way, I would like to point out, it seems like I'm auditioning for the part of Michael Douglas in Falling Down today. I don't know. I think it's through glasses.
Yes, the glasses are doing it for you.
Yeah, it's very, very Michael Douglas, and it's okay. My old boss has done all right for himself.
No, not too bad.
Just saying.
But
yeah, to your point of people changing the name due to ethnicities, that's very popular, and I like it when the bands don't do that.
Yeah,
like I joined Saigon Kick. They specifically asked the manager, "Is McLernon his real last name?" And the manager said yes. Said good, because we don't want any stage names, which they didn't.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. The one guy that I think should have come up with a stage name that didn't was Norman Greenbaum.
Yeah, it's kind of, you wonder how their lawyer wandered into the band.
Yeah, exactly. Just like, what? Norman, you couldn't come up with anything.
Right. Or maybe that was his stage name.
If it was his stage name, that was a very bad choice.
Not showy. Yeah, I agree.
Not at all.
You're exactly right, sir.
Yes, I want to be sound like my lawyer. He's like exactly right. But my aunt married a very Italian fellow whose last name is Iacucci.
Oh dear.
Right. So they went to their honeymoon in Hawaii.
Wow, this is one big joke waiting to happen.
Oh, totally. So they get to the hotel, and the hotel room is not ready.
Sure.
So they hang out at the hotel bar, whatever, and da-da-da-da-da. So they, of course, in Hawaii. And so finally, over the loudspeaker, they tell them that their room is ready. Mr. and Mrs. Ikiakioki.
Wow. Wow. Like, all of a sudden, she married a chicken. What happened there?
Exactly.
What the hell? Ikiakioki. Wow. That's like some sort of incantation from, the Warner Brothers cartoon.
Right. Exactly.
Wow. That's Ikiakioki.
Yes. So that was the Hawaiian pronunciation of Iacucci.
Okay. So with Pete, what we're saying is with Pete, we don't have that problem.
We do not. Do. No, not at all. These guys, these are good guys with good tunes, and I
agree.
And we had a very good conversation with them.
Yep, I agree.
So with no further ado, here is our conversation with Pete and Adam of Sons of Silver.
Enjoy it.
The first time that we spoke was before Zoom interviews were all the rage, and you were kind enough to send me one of the Read 'em Their Rights t-shirts.
Yeah.
Which I have worn out.
Well, you know what? I saw some, I think I even said, because I've traded some message or two here in the meantime, out playing golf with them. So yeah, I like that. That's the best way to use it,
Absolutely. It's good stuff. So you guys have a new record coming out, new song, new video just came up on just a couple days ago for Tell Me Why. We were just talking about the video. how much we love the little Star Wars crawl that kind of explains the whole thing.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Because your basic viewer is thinking of that stuff, but they're like, well, how can I find it out? And you did it. Nice work. Cool idea.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you. No, we actually that particular video we did ourselves. Most everything else is always done by, one of our team members. We have a few videographers we work with. But that one actually we shot it all ourselves, and then I put the text together, and I actually sort of, did the whole Star Wars crawl. And it's funny because I kind of did it not as a joke, but it was supposed to be just kind of fun. And I sent it out to our PR team and a couple folks at Universal, and they were like, "Hey, we love this. You should release this with the single and delay the main music video." And I was like, "Okay, here we go."
Well, it also explains a lot of what you guys are doing, which I think most people think they know what's going on with the songwriting and recording session, but they don't until they see it.
Right.
So they got to see it, and you got to explain it for the viewer, which I think is helpful.
Cool. Yeah, it's good. Well, and that was the kind of the thing behind it. And it's funny because I even had my banker texted me and emailed me, and he's like, "I really love this, and I love to see what's going on, in the studio. Because he's been by, he's visited, because we're friends. It's good to be friends with your banker.
Yeah.
Especially these days, seriously. But yeah, so there was a good reminder that, for most folks who aren't in the studio or don't get to experience that, it's kind of cool. So it's like me going on a rocket ship.
Yeah. What do you think most people who are not musicians and stuff, what do you think they think it's like? You know what I mean? What's their, like everyone wants to go backstage, but you don't know really what it's like backstage until you get backstage.
Okay, I'll answer that in a roundabout way. A few years ago, one of Brina, who's our keyboardist, also my wife, one of her closest friends is a promoter, a concert promoter, and he has a couple festivals. He does one notable size one up in Oakland. And one night a few years ago, we were hanging out at Christmas dinner. Actually a Hanukkah dinner, and we were talking music business, and a few people came up to us and they're like, "Oh, it's so cool. You guys get to be in the music business, blah, blah, blah." And we're like, if we actually had all 24 hours of a day to ourselves, we'd be lucky if we got 1 to 2 hours to actually play music or make music. The rest is business in one form or another. Mm-hmm. So the studio is not quite that bad. You really get your hands into it in the dirt in the studio. But it can get tedious. I mean, I've had a couple of my brothers come by and fall asleep. And we work
sure.
We worked really
We've
fast.
fallen asleep sometimes.
I got to tell you, with a 3-year-old for the last 3 years, I feel perpetually asleep. So you can start to see it right here.
Oh yeah.
You guys know. So
that's, I mean, as far as doing radio, I totally sympathize with that, because the actual part of being on the air, awesome. The rest of it, crap.
Yeah. But if you think about it, aren't a lot of, entertainment-based professions like that? Think about all those NBA players, for instance, any athlete, but they're sitting there on the bench, especially. Can you imagine the guy who's on the bench and he gets his 5, 7, 12 minutes a game, and then, the rest of the game there, and then someone says, "What did you think about the game?" He's like, "I don't know. I mean, what did you think?"
Exactly. I don't know. We won, we lost.
Good.
Give 100%.
Yeah. Exactly.
One thing that I liked in the crawl, that as the non-musician of the four of us, a lot of songs, I'm going to guess most songs, don't start at the beginning and then end at the end. They're taken from different pieces. And there was one part in there where you said, "Well, I finally relented on what I wanted the song to be, and once I did that, then the words came." I thought that was very interesting, to see how a song actually comes about.
It's like life,
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, isn't that what life's like? You fight, you want it a certain way, you have a vision in mind, and then sometimes it actually materializes, and the other times you just go with the flow and you give in. And
and sometimes speaking just for us and our process, we build songs all different ways, but usually it starts from us kind of jamming something, and then we refine it, get it sounding good. Peter comes up with some key lines, and then he has the unenviable task of finishing the lyrics afterwards. And that's usually our general thing. But like for example, it is interesting to see this stuff, because like you think of like Elton John and Bernie Taupin, it's exactly the opposite.
Right.
Bernie writes tons and tons of lyrics, sends them to Elton. he picks them up, reads them, gets inspired, and writes music to that. So there's no right or wrong way, but every group usually gets their particular flow or process, and it's always good to see different people because it isn't always the same.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so interesting for me to talk to Chris about how he came up with songs for Saigon Kick or Cold Sweat, and then just to see how every band is different the way they do it.
Right.
Yep.
They are. It's at the same time, I think it is it's slightly different but similar process for everyone. You just keep chipping away at it more than anything else, and you have to have some perseverance and patience, and eventually you get there, and you have your own taste too, which helps guide you. So we all kind of, and sometimes they come fast, sometimes slow. You just go with the flow. I'd say more than anything else, you go with the flow, and you stick at it, stick to it.
Yeah.
Right.
And you never know. Sometimes songs come along and they're finished really fast, like all in one day. And sometimes there's things that come along and there's like a riff or a part or even the majority of a song, but you just can't figure out how to frame it. And then you get frustrated with it, working on it. Then you put it down. Maybe a couple months later, you pull it back out and you have some new epiphany because you've gotten some time and distance, and you see some things like, oh, this is so obvious now. This is what we should do.
Right.
So.
Did you guys see the Peter Jackson Get Back?
Oh yes.
Oh God, of course.
Yeah. So everyone got to see how Beatles write songs, and
Yeah.
how many non-musician friends came in. Is that how it really works? They kept going over the same thing every day. It was like, yes.
Yeah.
They're thinking, I got a friend of mine who's like, why does you just sing Let It Be? He's like, he hasn't written it yet.
Yes.
He doesn't know it yet either.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Like, I don't get it. They're the Beatles.
It was actually it was I don't know what the word would be, but it was just nice to see them go through basically the same process that we all go through, and that's the Beatles, and that's what it is. They laid it out quite well over and over and over and over again.
Yep. Yeah, we were very excited and inspired by that because, again, we'd be lucky if we could write anything close to the Beatles, right? But we were inspired that our process looked exactly like what they did, albeit with not all the cameras and crew and stuff around it, but the process was exactly the same when we're in the studio.
Yeah, because I think people just think everyone comes in, like, say, for a band rehearsal, you come in, you play everything, once you go home.
Yeah.
That's rehearsal.
Yeah. That's true. It's anything but that.
Right.
I mean, honest to God, I think about it, especially for me, with practicing, because I sing lead, play, rhythm guitar, but it's more than just your average strumming parts, and I have to practice regularly. I have to keep my hands in shape, my feet in shape from tapping foot pedals, and that's what I often spend most of my nights doing is practicing or keeping that up, because if I let it go, I'm not quite good enough to let it go and come back and just pick it up in 5 minutes. So I spend a lot of my time, sitting in front of the TV, standing in front of the TV, watching some, mundane show, because I can't watch anything that's too interesting, and I'm just practicing up this there, singing that,
Yeah, with a 12-pound hunk of wood around your neck.
Exactly. Yeah. For whatever reason, on that note, as I've gone along in this whole music journey, I've gone from very light Telecasters to now heavy Les Pauls. I don't know what came over me, but
wow.
clearly not thinking clearly.
But that's true. Like when you're multitasking like that and you're learning those things, as any musician who does that will tell you, one of those things has to be just automatic. Because if you're thinking about singing and thinking about your playing, they're both going to suffer. But if you can get the playing so automatic that you can do it without thinking about it, then you can focus on the singing and really put some emotion into it. Otherwise, you're trading not competence, but confidence, I guess, so to speak, on both of those.
Yeah. Well, then, as soon as you make the mistake too, then it just blows the whole vibe. You're like, oh, now you're inside your own head. Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, it is like someone will come up to you and go, hey, what do you do on this part of this song? How do you play that? And you think to yourself, I don't really know. I've been playing it for years. I'll have to sit down and let me pick up my instrument and go, oh, I'm doing this. Because it is, after a while, it does really become automatic.
Right. Oh, absolutely. It does.
Yeah, very true.
On that note, for songs like you learned maybe as a kid, or what was a tune that like literally stopped you in your tracks? Like you heard it and you just went, what is that, and maybe change the course of how you played your instrument, or maybe the trajectory of the career? What was one thing that like really grabbed you?
Why don't you kick that one off first, Adam?
Well, I mean, as a young kid, I wasn't even really playing yet, but I think I discovered, Zeppelin, when I was probably like 6th or 7th grade, and just there. I don't know if there was any one particular song, but even as a little kid, I was a massive Beatles fan, and I think all of it was intrigue to me. I had no idea how those sounds were being made, not just what instruments were doing. You have to learn all those things, and you start to put faces to the sounds, so to speak, and then you have the intrigue of, well, even if I pick up a guitar, it doesn't sound anything like that. How are they doing that? So I think it's just the overall journey of you get bands and sounds that just intrigue you. So I'd say Beatles and Zeppelin just really were the kickoff for me.
That's two pretty good cornerstones, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would say for me, it's similar, and there's not a particular song. I grew up with a lot of Beatles and the likes because of my parents. But as far as and I didn't start playing guitar until I was a little older. I was well into my teens. But I would say, frankly, a lot of U2, The Edge, really inspired me a lot. And I obviously don't play anything like him whatsoever. But when I hear certain songs, like anything off Joshua Tree, With or Without You, Streets Have No Name. I mean, even before and after, there's just always something. There was always something that would just really make me want to pick up the guitar and not necessarily emulate the style of play. I mean, there's a bit of that, but really more just the emotion. And I still go to that. It's kind of a go-to for me. When I want a good pick-me-up. It's like almost like caffeine or something.
Right.
And I'll listen to some U2 of different eras. In fact, I was listening to the album Zooropa the other day because my son's a huge U2 fan, and he was actually asking, "Papa, what's that?" And I was like, "Well, that's a guitar." "No, it's not." "Well, it is a guitar." I think we were listening to the song "Numb," and I was explaining, effects, and I broke out my effects pedal and stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely credit him and them as numero uno in general.
This is the 3-year-old?
Yeah.
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 He's an old soul.
I hate to tell you this, but you got
but it's like you're talking to a 10-year-old.
I'm sorry, missed you, Jack.
I said, I'm sorry to inform you, you have a musician on your hands.
Oh yeah.
If he's doing that at 3,
you should hear this kid play drums.
Yeah, he started picking up the drumsticks at our recording studio when he was just shy of a year old, and then I got him a mini kit at about a year and a half, and he's been playing that ever since. He ebbs and flows. Like he'll play like nonstop for a month or two, and then he'll take a few weeks off. But he plays, and now we sit down most mornings and play piano, or most days, and he sings. I mean, it was the other morning I woke up or he woke up and he had his baby monitor going, and I hear him singing the lyrics to the U2 song "Bad." I mean, all of them. Whoa. I'm like, I'm like, this is incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, but it goes on from there. I could go on and on with the stories about that. He walks around and tells people he's either Bono or The Edge or Larry at times. So yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. It's like they tap into some universal channel on that radio, and they're just like, where is this all coming from?
It's true. And I would say this too, with the media these days, like YouTube in particular, it's such an influence because you can go and you can learn whatever you want. As I'm sure we've all done. I mean, you want to learn how to tear apart your car or plant trees, you go on YouTube. Well, he goes on there and watches drum covers of different songs, people playing the drums along to the track, so you can show how the drums are performed. And he watches 3 or 4 days. That's his only TV time or screen time, really. So we watch that, and he really loves U2.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
That's great. I mean, I have a son that's in college, and I took him to see Shinedown. And I watched it happen. The thing where music is something, oh, dad kind of does this, and then he saw the second song of Shinedown, and it went, oh, okay, I get this now.
Yeah.
And
I think that's especially true for kids seeing like rock bands for the first time, because it's much more visceral than anything else they've seen these days, especially if they came from the pop or the electronic world.
Right. Well, and you can find so much of that now. That's like my son's 19, or 23, and he's just his palette is so huge. Whereas like, before, let's say, growing up, it's like, no, you knew, like you mentioned that, you knew the guy who knew Led Zeppelin. You go find your Zeppelin albums with that guy.
Yeah.
So like, I want to find that, and also Polynesian drum techniques, at my music store. But you can find both of those on YouTube now.
Yeah. No, it's true. Well, actually, to add to that, we were at we take our son to a gym class weekly, like gymnastics for 2 and 3 year olds. Anyway, and they were always playing music. And one day, the instructor says, he puts on a Ramones song, and he says, my son, goes and starts dancing the music, and the guy says to him, "What song is that?" And I think it was Blitzkrieg Bop, and he goes, "Blitzkrieg Bop," and he goes, "Well, what band is that?" And he goes, "The Ramones." And the guy was blown away. So he flips to another song, and I can't remember what it was, and he knew who that was, and it's just because he's around it all the time,
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
He's
going to have his own playlist to bring to gymnastics.
Oh, for sure. Well, there so many of them are like that, though. I must admit, my wife and I, all the other parents were like, "Whoa!" My wife and I are like, "Thank you."
Sure, exactly. We're available for consultation.
Yeah, I mean, he's grown up in a recording studio, so I'm sure in his mind he's like, "Well, doesn't everybody do this?"
Right. Yeah,
true.
Definitely, for sure. So one thing that we also like to do is get your one record that everybody needs to listen to. Your one record that you would think, we had a Hank 3 record, and we've had a Grand Funk, the Red Grand Funk Railroad record was suggested by one of our other interviewees. So what one record do you think that somebody needs to listen to?
We'll take the pressure off. Adam, you can go first.
Well, I mean, I suppose we're assuming somebody hasn't heard it yet.
Yes. Which doesn't mean it has to be obscure. But you know how some people say, "Oh, I like the Beatles," and you throw like a Magical Mystery Tour. I'm like, what's this?
Yeah. No, I mean, I would say for me, it's in my mind, I'm tossing up between Radiohead's The Bends and Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. I mean,
one of
the greatest albums of all time in my mind.
Right. Yep, I'd agree.
Go with Dark Side of the Moon, because I was going to say the Bends. I've said enough about U2, so I was going to move to some Radiohead.
Some Radiohead. Yeah.
I mean, that's a mean question, to be honest.
You might drop like
saying,
this is coming from a guy with the Clash behind him.
Which severe children? Oh, I could pick London Calling.
All right, there you go.
London Calling.
Good call.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Good call.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh, amazing band. If I could have been in any band, it would have been the Clash. Other than this.
That's a great question right there. All right, Adam, what band would you be in?
Band to be in? I would go with Zeppelin, just because of the free flow of how they created music. It just felt that it was. I mean, I'm sure there was some controlling and things there, but it just felt like that those guys just channeled something, and it just felt like it was unconventional, unconfined. They were carving their own path, if not that, then I would go with Sabbath. Those are two bands that there were a lot of imitators, but no one ever really was able to do what they did.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, I think, with Sabbath, so many imitators, but it's like, you look at Sabbath, there's a line in the sand. It's like, Sabbath and Sabbath.
Yep.
It's clear.
Yeah.
Yep. It was the interesting thing with Sabbath, and I remember this when I was a kid, because the metal scene was really big, and you'd see these ads up in the music stores, looking for members of bands and stuff, right?
Right.
And they would say, their influences, and they would list, Megadeth, Metallica, this and that, and Sabbath, all these really heavy bands, or they would specifically call out Tony Iommi. I will say this, I think for rock and roll, he might be the single greatest, most prolific riff writer ever. I mean, this guy picked up a guitar and just wrote an amazing riff. Apparently, every time he picked the thing up, he couldn't stop.
Yeah, you could sing along to his riffs.
Yeah,
that's the other thing. Yeah, well, he's got a very jazzy background too. I mean, who else puts minor seventh chords in a fucking metal song, right? And fourth gigs, like what? Yeah. Okay, sure.
And on that note, one guy I was always impressed with was Rick Nielsen. Cheap Trick, diminished chords in Cheap Trick songs. Like, who puts a diminished chord in a pop rock song? They do, and you don't notice it until you go to learn it, and you're like, oh my God, what is he playing?
Right. And then they changed the key twice in the verse.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, and again, you're not noticing it because it works. It's perfect.
Well, that's the thing.
You probably didn't notice something
that's
true.
Without people noticing it. It's kind of like in the same aspect. Soundgarden, I always loved, they could work with Odd Time, but it never felt like Odd Time.
Right.
Until you stop to think about it, because it flowed with the lyrics and the melodies. Kurt Cobain, his melody lines. He could play chromatic chord progressions, bouncing all around, but his vocal melodies tied it together. If somebody played you those chord progressions on their own, you'd be like, what the hell do I do with this? But he made something amazing out of it.
Yep. Great. Peter?
So what's next for the band? We've got a record coming out. When does that happen?
We're not sure when the album's coming out. That'll be late spring, early summer. We'll have another single or two after this, and then some touring. That's being worked on right now to finalize some dates, and hopefully at that point we just continue touring through the rest of the year, release as I said, more singles, but also have the album come out with other assets, music videos and the likes. And then take it from there. But so far so good. It's off to a great start. Tell Me This came out on the 2nd of February, and everyone's really taken to it, and we've gotten a lot of love. It's to be honest with you, it's been a hard last couple of years, a few years here, as for everyone. For us, in the sense that we had some golden opportunities with our first and second EPs, Doomsday Noises and Ordinary Sex Appeal, to actually go out and really support them at radio. We were charting, but we couldn't because of COVID.
Yeah.
So that's an emotional challenge to overcome. And then we switched drummers. So we have a new drummer on this album, Mark Slutsky. And that actually, though, has been a true blessing in disguise for us. Mark's brought a freshness and a new energy. And I think I really feel helped us take things to a few levels up for us. So we're all very excited and optimistic, and it feels really good right now. We were just at rehearsal last night, actually heading to rehearsal after this call here, and Adam and I were talking last night, and it's just, you can tell when the air is buzzing a bit.
Yeah.
I may say so. It's buzzing for us right now, so we're trying to soak it in and use it to charge our batteries to go further.
Yeah,
it's always fun when the drummer brings that in. I remember the Ramones going from, what was it, Subterranean Jungle to Too Tough to Die when Richie came in. It's like, whoa, who hit the gas?
Yeah. Look, any member of them, anytime you change a member of a band or a unit, that can always happen. Go the other way too, obviously.
Oh yeah.
I would say in our case, it's been really beneficial, because Mark, not only is he an amazingly talented player and a really good co-writer, but he's also very hungry. He's really he's very hungry. So we're all the same mindset. So we work well together, and he was introduced to us by John Fields, a producer who mixed our second EP, Ordinary Sex. And he came highly recommended, and so we pulled from within our circle, which made a lot of sense for us, because not necessarily like minds, but like places in life,
Yeah.
So it's been great.
That's good. Yeah. When we first booked you to come on the show, I was telling Chris, I said, if you put this band on paper, I shouldn't like them, but when you but
actually, a hard rock guy, right?
Yeah. But actually hearing the band, I've loved every song that you've ever done.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Right. Don't look at me. Don't look at Adam.
Into that, the one nice thing is because we are a live band, like we write that stuff. The records sound great, but they're refined. They're studio recordings. So when people see us live, there's a lot more of a raw rock act thing. So like at times we're like, we don't understand why they're sometimes putting us into the active rock thing, because we're not that. but we have enough of that to do it. But we had someone come out to check us out for some management or booking. We can't remember what it was. And I just remember the comment that they said once they saw our set, they were like, "Oh, you guys are a rock band." You know what I mean? Because again, the records are the records are refined.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more edge to us live. It's more edgy and more I think powerful live and less refined.
Right. Right.
Well, and I think I saw that in the crawl too, where you guys try and grab that, that elemental skeleton of the live performance together. Because if you can, I think you also meant if you dump on top of that, it stays there.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. As you would know, I mean, it's like let me just think of how to say it. Basic bottom line is when you go and you get everything right there. And if it doesn't work with the 4 or 5 of you, if that doesn't work, to hit you in the chest a little bit in the soul, it's not going to work. You're polishing it after that. So it's very easy when you do it step by step by step, where you put the drums on and the bass and the guitar, some order of that. And you get 3 steps along and you're like, oh, it's not quite what I want. But then you're just so desperate at that point, you try, you finish it anyway. When you should have just put it all together, you would have known in 5-10 minutes whether or not it's worth pursuing or what tweaks you need to make.
Right.
And that's how all the music that everyone loves, especially not just in the rock world, in any world, jazz, any type of live performance music. Yeah. That's how it was always done. Think of Frank. Can you imagine Frank Sinatra if they layered all those parts and then he puts his vocal on? He didn't get to yell at the band or yell at the inject his emotion, and it just wouldn't work. Have a few drinks in the meantime. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, let's take Sinatra at the Sands and start with the drums. Yeah. And then we'll put the bass on it. Oh my God! First of all, they'd be there for 6 months. Second of all, it would kill it.
Yeah, he'd probably kill them. So. But seriously, I mean, I think about that sometimes. Can you put that exact situation? It's just, it wouldn't happen.
No. Yeah. No, it's capturing that moment, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, when you hit playback, if it doesn't excite everyone in the room, if you're not intrigued in some way, you got to do another take or you got to do another song.
Yep.
Wow.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing this. We really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for having us, and
anytime.
Yeah. Well, anytime. Hey, Jack, send me your guys' address and shirt sizes. I got to send you some new shirts here.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be awesome.
We wreck with it. This
really appreciate it. I need more golf attire.
I was going to say, and I want to see that post, on the course, and I hope it's a good swing too.
Those are few and far between, but I will try to catch that.
Yeah, you can get one. Creative editing.
Exactly.
I'm sure it's better than any swing I've had.
Well,
so.
It's okay. You do the swing and then you do the quick cut to the ball bouncing into the hole.
Yes,
right. You don't have to show the person throwing the ball to 20 times to get it.
Just off camera there.
Yeah, exactly.
Magic of movie making.
Exactly. Well, and hopefully you'll get some. Chris is in Charleston, South Carolina. I'm still here in Florida, so hopefully you guys will get some tour dates out this way.
Oh, that's definitely the plan. That's what's in the works right now. We'll know pretty soon here. So
all right.
Well, yeah, please keep us posted, and of course travel safe too, and try and stay dry for God's sake out there.
We'll do our best.
It's all done now. The rain's done here finally.
Done for a couple of weeks. So
yeah,
I was gonna say still gotta get through February. Oh boy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks you guys. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
Thanks to Pete and Adam for Sons of Silver for joining us. I also just noticed that your name on there is Mick Silver now, but you also have a microphone with a line through it. You must have hit something.
I didn't.
Yeah,
that's a sad thing. I didn't hit anything, but yes, you are correct. I am Mick Silver. I'm trying to stay topical.
Yes, very, very cool conversation. I am astounded at the musical knowledge and what is the word? Whatever the other word is of his son, who's 3 years old.
Right. Yeah. I call it vocabulary.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah. Impressive.
That was very cool. The other thing too that really stuck out to me was the fact that, and you can speak to this, is when you can sing it and play it, but you have to not be conscious of one of them.
Right. They're one motion. It's like if you're playing piano, the left hand and the right hand aren't two different things. They're the same hand. It's just got 10 fingers. So that's the same thing when you're playing, singing and playing. It's the same thing. You're trying to make that one motion. What I also like was they did Star Wars crawl over the video.
Yes.
Which I think is a great idea of like informing everyone, here's what we're doing, here's how we go through the process, whatever. And you can hear the song, but you know what's going on as well, especially if they're new to you.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a great idea. I will guarantee you, Pete and Adam, someone's going to steal your idea big time.
And it could be Cold Sweat.
It could be me.
Yes. Who knows?
Whoopsie.
So you are getting ready for a Cold Sweat show.
Yes, May 3rd.
Yeah, up at M3. So and it's been a while since you've played those songs, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So what is, have you started practicing for that, or is it something you will do closer to the gig?
No, I like to start way out.
Okay.
I do not like cramming.
Right.
I mean, I know them really well, and they're part of my DNA. But it's another thing to have to be second nature again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really important because once they're second nature, you can entertain. You can put on the show. You can walk around. You can interact with everybody. Whereas if you're trying to think, okay, is this A here and does it go to the verse? And okay, wait, is it F at the third fret or is it the first fret? How did I do that? You know, because some of them, even though it's in your DNA, you just kind of you blank anyway. Like Beal used to do it to me all the time. He'd look at me across the stage and go, "What's the next line?" And I'd go, "You wrote it."
He's saying, "You wrote it."
Yeah, he just panicked. It was like, "I state your name. I state your name." So yeah, he'd look at me like, and they get to the mic and boom, it'd be out. He'd get it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And I've done that too, man. You're just like, oh God, what's next? Oh God, what's next? Oh God, what's next? Right. Oh, that's what's next.
Right. And that's part of the reason now why with technology, teleprompters are used on stage a lot. I mean, you got teleprompters for, what the Stones, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been singing those songs for 60 years, but you get in the middle of that, you could have a senior moment.
Well, you sure could, man. And it is not, here's the other thing people forget. It is really bright and really hot up there.
Yeah.
That's the thing that throws people off the most when they get on a stage like that. They're like, oh my God, it's so hot. Well, yeah, because you have, 125 lights on you.
Right.
It is warm. So you're sweating. You're probably dehydrated. Yeah. Who knows how good your eyesight is.
Right.
And you're like, So what I would do if I was usually the guy that people waited until I sang so they get the lyric right. So if I didn't have the lyric right, I just kind of sing the vowel or sing like nonsense syllables until I got it.
Right.
Whatever, something like that. And it's like, oh, okay, it sounds right. Finally, at the end,
Right. Yeah.
At the beginning, like, what's he doing? Oh, okay, he's fine. He got it.
Yeah.
Got in just in time.
That's cool. I mean, I heard a story once of, I think it was Eddie Van Halen when they played a kind of a club gig with Sammy.
Okay.
So it was that time of the career, and he actually got out there and went, "Oh God, how do I play this and sing too?"
Yeah, I believe it. Totally believe it. I had a friend of mine. His name's August Zadra. He played with Dennis DeYoung.
Yeah.
And when August got the gig, he was in a Styx cover band. He does an amazing Tommy Shaw. He's a great guitar player.
Yeah.
And he's an Alaskan. How do you like that?
Yeah.
And he goes from A to Z with his name. Pretty good.
Yeah.
And that's not a showbiz name. Even better. So anyway, when he joined Dennis, he didn't have the heart to tell Dennis he can't play and sing at the same time. He could do one or the other.
Right.
And so me and another friend of mine, Casey McLernon, who we'll talk to hopefully soon, said, dude, you have to learn how to sing and play. Dennis, if anyone is going to pick that up fast.
Right.
So he had to learn how to do it. And this is someone who'd been playing a long time, but he's got it now.
Right. Well, how did he? Well, how was he in a Styx cover? Was he James Young in the cover band?
Oh no, he was playing Tommy Shaw.
Well, how did he not play and sing?
Great. That's what I asked him. How do you not do that? We just strum a chord and wait, 4 bars, and then until the chord change again or something. And he didn't really explain it well. No. So. But he's got it now. But I did see, if you go back and look at his Styx cover band, I forget the name. It's like, Pieces of 8 or something.
Right, yeah.
And if you watch him playing, you can see he's not doing it right. It's not, it's a little rough. But his singing is so good.
Oh, it's really good.
Yeah. So you're just gonna go, okay, fine, whatever, dude.
Yeah. For those who don't know, August Zadra, the first time I met him was the very first jam, the ultimate jam night. They had it at a bowling alley, and I was there with a
Highland, that one on Highland.
Hollywood and Highland, and I was there with doing a TV show, and I did like 40 interviews in one night. It was crazy.
Wow.
But he stood out, and there were a lot of big people there that night.
Yeah.
But he stood out as a great singer, great guitar player, and really, really great interviewee.
Good.
That is somebody who knows how to be interviewed. He's very engaging, and it just comes across as a really nice guy.
Yep. Yes, it does. Yep. I can contest having met him more than once.
Yeah. So we may have to have him on the show. Drag
him on. If not, we'll send him a bill for the publicity we just gave him.
Yes, exactly.
Speaking of other things that are fascinating during an interview, the fact that Adam's dog was creeping up over his shoulder.
Yes.
The entire time it would have been his right shoulder. I was like, what is? Yeah. What is that? Is that a hair? Is it a cat? And then I realized, oh my God, it's a dog.
Yeah.
So the dog was spying on us the whole time.
Right. Exactly. He was just eavesdropping.
Yeah. totally eavesdropping. Can't trust those dogs at all.
Not at all. So before we wrap this one up, put a bow on it, and send it out to the world, I just want everybody to know, if they haven't already noticed, how white your teeth are.
Thank you. I had them cleaned today.
Yes,
I had them cleaned today, and my dental hygienist was very proud of the job. Though, as I said to you earlier, I don't understand why they haven't improved upon the process, because it's still very medieval, where you're scraping plaque off someone's enamel with a pitchfork.
Yeah.
Oh God, she's like getting up under the gum, and you're like, "This is good." You told me to floss, but this is ridiculous. Right. Like I can see this in my nasal passages. What are you doing?
Yeah. You would think there would be a handheld laser for that or something by now.
Or rinse something, right? You just
exactly.
Plaque is gone.
Right.
Yeah, that was and she was as they do. She was admonishing me because I quote didn't floss enough or whatever.
Right.
I said, well, you realize I have to get the implant done, and that's why I couldn't come in 3 months ago, because you have to get the implant has to heal and the bone has to come together. And so we measured it out for the new implant. Which will be fantastic, and that is finally done after 6 months. Oof. But it is next to my other implant, which is blue, because my dentist asked me, what color you want? And he's like, ha ha ha. I said, well, what can I get? And he goes, I don't know. Let me call the lab. So he calls the lab, and he says, well, what colors can you get? Well, you can get white or yellow or green or blue. I said, really? How does green look? And it looked kind of like snot. I was like, probably don't want that one. Yellow looked like old teeth. So I'm like, no, don't want that one. Said, how does blue look? And it looked pretty cool. So I said, all right, give me blue. So I actually here comes the dad joke. I have a Bluetooth. It's in my head. I have a real Bluetooth. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Thank you. Can't get shit for reception on AT&T, but you know what? I got a Bluetooth.
There you go.
True story. That is not Vegas. I'm not making that up.
All right. So when Cold Sweat comes to your town, has to see the Bluetooth.
All right. Yes. Right. Well, we get the other one next, which will be gold, by the way, because I keep breaking that one off.
Oh.
So that one has to be gold. So now I've got blue and gold. So now I'm what? UCLA?
Yeah. Well, either that or you're 2/3 of a Bad Company song.
That's right. I am. That's right. I am, and a good one.
Yes, yeah, very good one.
Did they really have any bad ones though?
No, they did not.
No. I was, by the way, I was reading over today because Mick Jones announced he has Parkinson's.
Oh,
and as for those of you who don't know, I have it. I'm willing to share it if anyone wants some, but I have it, and it's all mine. Right. But Mick has got it, so I've been wondering why he hasn't played with the band for the last 5-6 years. Now we know. So I was looking up on the web, just checking on some sales of Foreigner, how much, because that first record was huge.
Yeah.
And like every record was monstrous, 6, 7, 5, 9 million copies. Just like, good God.
Yeah.
They were just so big.
Yeah. Their first 4 records are ridiculous. And then they had the enormous single on the 5th record.
Yeah, yeah, right. The record did okay, but the single was huge.
Yeah, I want to know what love is.
I know what that's like.
Yeah.
You have the big single on the record.
Yeah.
One record over, everyone was like, "What's this record about?" But yeah, I remember when the first one came out, and I was just going, "Wow, this is just really cool."
Yeah, the very first album I ever owned was Double Vision.
Because it's Foreigner, Double Vision, Head Games 4. That's like kind of the building blocks.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean,
and then the one with I Want to Know What Love Is, and I don't even know the name of it.
Right. Yeah. Right. It's Agent Provocateur.
Oh, that is yes. There were some actually good songs on that one. There was Tooth and Nail before Dawkins' Tooth and Nail, which I really liked on the record.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got them, so how bad is it going to be, really?
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, that first record, man. I didn't realize Mick Jones sings on Star Rider.
Yeah.
I just thought, I was a kid at the time, so that's the singer.
Right.
Lou Gramm. Nope. No, it is not. So now I got to listen to it.
He sings on another one on Double Vision too. That's
woman something.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Woman, oh, woman, or women, not woman, or women and women, or I don't know.
Yeah, not women in uniform, but the.
Oh, nice pull though.
Yes.
There was one of my favorite Instagram battles recently was people fighting over the fact who's better, Clive Burr or Nico McBrain. And I was like, 2 totally different bands at the time and 2 totally different drummers. Love them both.
Yeah, exactly.
But and if I had to, I've met Nico more than once, and he's just such a lovely person.
Yes, he is.
And a killer drummer.
Yeah. But
Clive Burr was unique.
Yes.
Everything from his drum setup to the way he just came up with parts, he was really unique.
Drumming is something that I don't quite understand because it looks like Nico is barely touching them.
Yeah.
But there's so much sound that comes out. And then you get other guys like Eric Carr that were just bashing the hell out of him.
Yeah. Yeah. Nico's all technique.
Yeah.
That wrist is just whack.
Yeah.
Barry Kirch from Shinedown is like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he looks like he's hitting really hard, and he is, but a lot of that is that technique, just bang, and it makes the drum sound killer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's Nico. He really knows how to do that.
Yeah. Because he looks like he's barely moving.
Yeah. He's so smooth and fluid. And you throw him on anybody's kit and he sounds like him.
Yeah.
That's the sign of a really good musician. You give them any instrument, any amp, no matter what, it sounds like them. They've got a signature.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. Well, this has been a good one with Sons of Silver. Go check their video out with the Star Wars crawl right there on your YouTube.
Exactly.
They've got a new record coming out, and I've got to get them our addresses so we can have their shirt. Their shirts are usually very good.
Oh, that's right. Forgot about that.
Yeah. So we need to get our Sons of Silver shirts.
There you go.
All right. Until next time.
Well, don't forget to subscribe. Let's have everyone subscribe on the channel here.
Yeah, please subscribe. Hit a like button. Do whatever it is that you do on this fancy
and comment. Let's hear some comments. We've
gotten a lot of comments lately. I'm really liking it. And by the way, I'm just going to say this right now. You and I do not do the posting of this stuff because we are not technically savvy for that. You might be, but I'm not.
No, I'm more of a performer, really.
Yes. So we have people that do that for us.
Yes,
that,
we do.
Obviously are very technically savvy, but did not take the course on spell check.
No.
So that's not us.
No, not Drunk and White. Yeah. So we think it's funny. The people's comments about it are hilarious.
They are.
But, and you're not wrong.
For all I know, that might be their marketing strategy.
It could be. You just annoy people, and that gets us likes and hits. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, because there's been a couple of times like, did I just see that? Is that spelled right?
Right.
So yeah. So to the folks in the comments, we see it too, and we're talking to the folks in the tech department and getting it down. But
right. Yeah.
But you can't talk about other things as well.
Yeah, we appreciate everything they're doing.
We do,
because they're doing it for the league minimum.
They are, and they're fantastic. I love the shorts they're doing, all that stuff.
Yes.
But
yeah,
if you pointed that out in the comments, trust us, we've seen it. But thanks anyway. Yeah, we do appreciate the input.
Yes, exactly. All right. Until we speak again, I'm Jack Trash,
and I'm Chris McLernon,
and live your life to 10 plus 1.
And we will see you at Will Call.